Hello, this is my review of the Pelikan M1005 Demonstrator finish. As you can see by the finial and the trim of the pen, this is a rhodium trim, hence the 05 at the end of the M1000 line. And I really love this demonstrator finish. This is my favorite demonstrator finish of all pens because of the ink reservoir and the big nib. And as you can see, the details, it says the same thing as any other M1000 Pelikan silver on the band and everything like that, the Pelikan clip. The inner mechanisms are very clear. It's like a very clear demonstrator finish, unlike like the Pelikan M1003 demonstrator finish. So I really love that about this pen. And the nib is just amazing. I love Pelikan nibs, Pelikan 1000 nibs in general. So having this in the demonstrator finish is just a bonus. And that rhodium trim piston knob and piston mechanism in the contrast with that black piston spirtle is really nice. So, and it's very smooth and it's like just very nice. This is a used Pelikan 1005, so the piston knob is a little bit wobbly. So I'm just a little bit concerned about that, but the nib is just amazing. I have another M1005 nib, so I will use that more likely than this medium nib, because this medium nib is a little bit too wide for my taste. But you can unscrew this, as you can see, and it's easily cleanable, easily unscrewable. And as you can see, this is a used model, so this has some staining on the nib section, which is to be expected when we have demonstrators and you use it for a long time. And how it holds is very balanced for my taste. I enjoy how it holds. I enjoy the balance of M1000 pens. And when you post this, it gets very long, but it's still usable if you really enjoy that posting. My hands are not too big nor are they small, so I use it without posting them. So for me, just without posting is great. And this pen is just great and just great for people that like demonstrator finishes. In terms of comparing it for people that never seen a review of M1000, I'm going to compare it to the M1005 Stresemann. So basically the same model, but just different finishes. I just like the demonstrator finish a little bit more, and I will sell my M1005 Stresemann soon anyways. And my 1149 calligraphy. As you can see, they're pretty much the same size, and they're just very two classic models. You have my Pelikan M1005 Blue Dunes finish, which goes well with the rhodium trimmed M1005 demonstrator as well. As you can see, it's just classic models. I'm just comparing it for the sake of comparing them. Now I'm just going to compare the nibs for people that don't know the difference. Comparing to my 1149 calligraphy and my Pelikan M1005 nib to see the difference in sizes. The 1149 and the 1005 nib is pretty much the same length. It's just different size in terms of the width. So like the 149 is like diamond shaped, whereas the M1005 is more of a long. And as you can see in comparison to my M805 nib, obviously it's bigger. And I just like the nib. This nib is just amazing, bouncy, soft, and everything I want from a nib personally. And it's just amazing nib to write with. In terms of mechanism, this is a piston filler. I'm using Graphon Faber-Castell Turquoise for its review. So good thing about this pen is you can see how much ink you have easily because it's demonstrator, and just seeing the mechanism when you're inking it up and everything like that is just amazing. Some people might not like the fact that you see the ink in the nib section, but that's the good and bad part of the M1005 demonstrator. I personally don't care, but some people don't like that, but I like it, and you can hold a lot of ink with this. And I mean, in terms of ink capacity, it's not as much as like a Twisby piston fillers, I think, but it still holds a lot of ink for what it is. In terms of writing sample, I'm going to be using a rodeo pad, and this is a medium nib. This is an 18 karat medium nib, so keep that in mind. Pelikan 1005 demonstrator with a medium nib. It's just amazing nib. This has some wetness to it like most Pelikans, and the demonstrator finish is just amazing. It is great for people that enjoy demonstrator finishes. Some people don't like that, but I personally like it. The ink I'm using is Graphon Faber-Castell Turquoise. I think I spelled it wrong again, but this is a great ink. I don't use this ink as much. I was just trying to use it just to get rid of the ink because I haven't used it as much. So because it's a wet pen, it runs through ink really fast. And in terms of how the pen is, how the nib is, the feedback isn't there's barely any feedback because it's a soft nib and it's a smooth nib as well. And I enjoy the softness of this nib. It's not for everyone because you might accidentally sweat at times if you write with it fast or you have a harder pressure writing. I don't. I have a soft pressure writing, so it's great for me. But if you have a hard pressure writing, then you might want the M800 nibs. In terms of wrist writing, it's terrible. I mean, it's not that great. It's very scratchy. In terms of line variation, you definitely get a lot of line variation because it's a bouncy and soft nib. But this is not a flex nib. If you treat it as a flex nib, you might accidentally spend times in having to pay to get it fixed. But you definitely get line variation with regular writing if you push the nib a little bit, which is really enjoyable for my taste. And in terms of wetness, it is not too wet nor is it too dry, but it's just great. So yeah, this is a bouncing nib. The wetness is what I like in a nib. It's not too wet, nor is it's like a medium wetness, which I like. I don't like too wet nibs. It kind of gets annoying. In terms of pros and cons, the number one pro for me is a demonstrator finish. They only made one demonstrator finish of this for the M1000 line, M1005 line. They made like 2 or 3 for the M800 line, like the Chinese version and whatnot. But I wish they made more, which would make me want this more. And I wish they made a blue demonstrator finish like they did with the Blue Ocean M800. And I would definitely get that one. The nib is just amazing. It's a soft and bouncy nib, which I really enjoy. And it's a piston filler. The fact that it's a piston filler is just amazing because you can see it in the mechanisms. And also you have the ink capacity. So you can see the ink swooshing as well. And that is easy to clean. It's just super easy to clean. You can just unscrew the nib section, just blast water into the nib section, and just clean easily. One of the cons is that it's big or thick, depending on the person's preferences. Personally, for me, it's great size because I don't have too big nor small hands. But for people with smaller hands, they might not prefer it. And the fact that you have risk of staining. This already has staining in the nib section, so you might get risk of staining. If you use any Nuler's ink, you'll definitely get staining, but there's still a risk of staining even if you use higher end inks. And the fact that it's expensive. Price, it goes for 700 plus on the secondary market, and for like brand new, like mint editions, it goes for over $1,000, which in my opinion is very overpriced. I would not pay over $1,000 for its demonstrator finish, especially since you can get a M1005, just a special edition like Stresemann or like the regular versions for around 500, 600. But paying over $1,000 just because it's demonstrator finish is not worth it. In the end, I think this pen is great, and I think this pen is worthy of this like status as one of the best demonstrator finish pens. And I love how it is. I just wish, one thing I wish I could change about this is that the piston, as you can see the piston a lot more when you see it in the demonstrator finish. I like how with Twisby, you have the piston to the back, so it kind of hides it, and there's more room for the ink. I wish that was the case with this, because like it looks like there's so much room for more ink to be placed in, but that's not the case with this one. But that's just how the model is. This is a classic model, so but in the end, I still love this demonstrator finish. This is my favorite demonstrator finish, and I think I might end up returning this and buying a mint version, because I don't like the fact that the nib section is very tinted, it's stained. It's a lot more stained than I expected. And also the fact that the piston knob wobbles a lot, and there's a lot of scratches that the person that sold it to me described. So I'm thinking of returning this and buying a new one, like a very mint version in the future. But I just wanted to make a review of it, because I was debating on if I was going to keep it or not as I was making this review, as I was testing this out. But I might have to send it back and buy a mint version. but this is a great model, and I hope I can get a near mint version so I can use it for everyday use and making my own pen. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.